Hello there, good morning and welcome to the WP Builds News. This news episode was published on Monday the 8th of October 2018 and it's entitled Gutenberg Release Date, WordCamp Europe and Google Pay Apple a Lot of Dollars. It's covering the week commencing the 1st of October 2018. Just a couple of things before we begin. Please, if you enjoy these episodes, go over to the wpbuilds.com website and click on the buttons. The subscribe to iTunes is very useful to us, and a 5-star review, dare I say it, would be very, very helpful. There's lots of other buttons to press as well, but would be most grateful for that. Also, to say that at the moment we have a very, very large giveaway on. I won't go into too much detail, but if you go over to wpbuilds.com, you can click the giveaways button and it's entitled Episode 100 Quite Good Giveaway. I was being a bit tongue-in-cheek because it's really huge. I honestly don't think I've seen a bigger WordPress giveaway before. 180 plus products being given away all in one giant hit. So yes, go and check it out. Also, if you click on the webinars link at the top of the website, you'll find that we have a webinar coming up very soon with Tom Carlos from Beaver Team Pro. It's actually on Thursday, the 11th of October, so you've got a little while to subscribe to that. Also, we've got the deals page where you can find all sorts of information about plugins and things that have got some money off exclusively for us. Beaver Team Pro, Erin Flynn's courses, Main WP, BlogVault, Malcare, and Toolset, and so on. So yes, go and check those out as well. Great. Right, let's leave all that behind and let's instead move on to the actual WordPress news for this week. The first one is on the WP Tavern website, and it's saying that Matt Mullenweg has announced that WordPress 5.0 is very, very likely to be released in the very near future, quite possibly on the 19th of November, so not long now. Really, you need to be getting your house in order, deciding whether you're going to go with the classic editor or whether you're going to go with Gutenberg, because it's going to be coming very, very soon. There's a little bit of chatter, which I'll explain in a moment, about whether or not this date is timed for something specifically. But nevertheless, they've got all of their design leads in place. It looks quite likely that 4.9.9 might not happen. We might go from what we're on now, 4.9.8, straight over to 5. Not entirely sure. It may be just a PHP 7.3 release if they do 4.9.9. We'll have to wait and see, but extremely close. The clock is most certainly ticking. And with that in mind, another article on WP Tavern is entitled, If Deadlines Are Not Arbitrary, Why Not Release WordPress 5.0 in the Beginning of January? And in this article, Jeff Chandler makes the point that in the US at least, the timing of the 19th of November would coincide horribly with a major holiday, Thanksgiving, and obviously it's quite close to the run-up to Christmas. The point that he's trying to make is, look, this is not a normal release, it's not even a normal point release, it's much bigger, potentially going to cause a lot of headaches. Why not just wait until all the notable holidays, Christmas and so on, are out the way, and push it until January when everybody can devote more time to it? Quite a few people have chimed in on Twitter, kind of saying, look, this is really going to disrupt my life. I don't want my kind of holiday and family time being disrupted by this if things break and so on. So yeah, fascinating. I don't know what your strategy is going to be, but maybe you'd prefer it to happen in January when all of that stuff is out of the way. Speaking of Gutenberg, there's a very interesting article on wpappstore.com entitled Should Gutenberg Replace Your WordPress Page Builder? Why I like this article is because certainly for a beginner, if you've not really looked at Gutenberg before, it does a nice job of laying out what it is that Gutenberg can do. And obviously we know if you've used Elementor, Breezy, Beaver Builder and so on, you know that it can handle very, very complicated layouts and templates. Gutenberg is not that. It's much more straightforward, and the point being it's going to be usable by everybody out of the box straight away. So he draws attention to what it is that Gutenberg can do in a very, very brief way, and then he talks about what it is that page builders can do, and probably, in all honesty, I don't think your page builders have got anything to worry about. I just like the way it was put together anyway. Okay, the next one. back to wptavern.com. This one is all about the fact that WordCamp Europe, I think it's the biggest WordCamp of all, eclipsing even WordCamp US. The 2019 destination for this is Berlin. I think it's going to be held in June 20th to the 22nd, and some of the tickets, 250 of the tickets, were put on offer on the website, and they sold out within a matter of, I think, 3 hours. So 250 tickets in 3 hours. Now, obviously, this isn't kind of like a U2 concert or anything where things sell out in a matter of minutes, but it is really impressive, kind of months and months, 8 or so months out, that we can, that the community can shift 250 tickets. People are clamouring for these. The aim, I think, is to have somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 and to stage the release of them, so more went on offer later in the week. But it's a testament to the success of that event that they're selling out so amazingly quickly. Okay, the next article is on the toolset.com blog, and I really think this is an interesting approach. Toolset have their own support channel, and they say that they handle about 1,000 tickets each and every month, and it's devoted to their Toolset suite of products, so views and so on, where you can enter custom fields and custom post types and all of that kind of thing. But they also make the comparison that some of the support requests are a little bit out of scope. So what they've decided to do is to set up some some of their clients will become contractors, and they can then kind of circumvent the support process. Now, they're very clear on the website, they're still going to offer support, but if something is out of scope and probably not something that their support system can handle, they're going to say, look, here's somebody who's offering exactly the kind of service that you need. There'll be a fee attached. I'm not sure how the fee structure will work, whether there'll be a cap on that, but I just think it's a really interesting idea. See what comes of this. The idea that you would offload to community members, people who have used and become familiar with Toolset, offload some of the more difficult support requests that simply can't be handled by their own team to these community members. I think a fascinating approach. So we'll see how that goes over time. Hosting company GoDaddy, WP Tavern again tell us, have hired Mike Schroeder to contribute to WordPress full-time. You can actually click off the WP Tavern article and go to the GoDaddy page. But Schroeder has been using WordPress since, I think, 2009 or 2011 or something like that. And he's contributed to lots and lots and lots of things in the WordPress space, including being the co-lead of 3.9 in 2016 and so on. And he's now being made a full-time WordPress developer being paid for by GoDaddy. I think he's going to be working on the media component. Anyway, I just think that's a really nice thing to have done. Obviously, GoDaddy use a lot of WordPress products, and so it's nice that they're contributing back in that way. There's not a lot to say about this next one. It's from the cloudways.com website, and it's to say that if you're a Cloudways user, I've dabbled with it, so I'm not really a Cloudways user. You can now get the popular Astra theme, which is developed by Brainstorm Force. You can get the Astra theme in just one click. It's a really good theme. It's got a lot of really great options in there. And now if you are a Cloudways subscriber, you can just click one button and get that. I think that also applies to Ocean WP. I think that's been available until this point. So there we go. A nice little feature. This is on the iThemes blog. I think this is quite interesting. I actually am a person that uses iThemes security here and there. I don't know whether I'll be deploying this, but they've got a few new features. One is trusted devices and login alerts. And the idea is that if somebody logs into your website, logs into WordPress, and they're using a device which hasn't been set as trusted, it will issue you with a variety of alerts, most notably email, and will try to pinpoint where they are in the world, and you can link it up to various mapping API tools to be more specific, but by default it will try to work out, which country or which city or so on. So the idea being here is that you will have more security because only certain devices, so for example this computer or this phone or this tablet or what have you, are allowed to log in, and I think that's quite an interesting approach. We'll see how that works. They've also made steps to reduce the possibility of session hijacking, so nobody can maliciously use your current session and take over. The principle here is that if somebody, goodness knows how these people achieve these attacks, but if somebody were to access your session on a different device, then it would immediately log them out, so you can't kind of take over somebody's current session. So interesting developments at iThemes security. Okay, another nice article on WP Lift. I'm not really going to talk through this one, but just to say that this might be a really nice article to point to people who are beginning to use Gutenberg. Let's say, for example, you've decided all your clients are going to be using Gutenberg, or certainly on new builds. This is entitled 15 tips that will turn you into a Gutenberg master, and it's got some nice little tips about how you can make cover images and offer free downloads for your visitors, put things into columns, embed other posts, install Yoast, add widgets, use buttons for call to actions, and so on. All the stuff that you would have to explain afresh to your clients. This post covers it quite nicely, so I'm mentioning it. Okay, I've mentioned Breezy, the page builder, over the last few weeks, each week, simply because they've been adding a boatload of features, and I like their approach to adding features week on week. Well, to add to their ACF support, they've now added Toolset and Pods. So if you're a Toolset user and you use their custom fields, you can now pull those custom fields into Breezy pages and so on and so forth. And what I quite like about this article, it doesn't just explain that they've achieved this, it's a little how-to on how to achieve it in both cases. So they've got a walkthrough of how to do that with toolset fields, and then when they've done with that, they talk about how to do it with pods fields. So I rather like this article, and I'm liking what Breezy are doing. It's really great. Okay, we're away from the WordPress news now, moving into something else. Two our items. Hacktoberfest, I hope I said that right. Hacktoberfest, which is DigitalOcean's, I think DigitalOcean's, yes, initiative to give back to the open source community. They're running their 5th year, and they're expecting to give away 50,000 t-shirts. The idea is that you submit pull requests to Git repositories and so on, alter something that needs altering. They're making the point that really you can't be making 5 pull requests for things like removing white space or correcting typos. You need to do that maybe once, but you can't claim all 5 as something as simple as that. And then you make a change and commit it, and in some way communicate that to them. And if you do 5 of those, you get yourself a t-shirt. And apparently the amount of good that they've been doing, the amount of cleaning up of open source projects, not just WordPress, anything. I don't suppose WordPress receives a great deal of this because they've got a dedicated team working on it, but any open source project, I just think it's a nice idea. So if you're into this kind of stuff, go and check it out. And the very last one, this actually surprised me. I was really bowled over by the amount, and it is to say that according to Search Engine Land, Google will be paying Apple $9 billion to remain the default search engine on Safari. And in my head, I had Safari as like a real tiny part of the browser market. And then, of course, I thought, oh no, iPhone. Well, apparently in the US, if you take all the statistics and roll them up, Safari is the 2nd most popular browser. That actually might be globally. 59.7% for Chrome and 14.5% for Safari. But that goes up considerably if you are just taking mobile data. So the thought is that by next year, this could be as much as $12 billion. This is just a rivalry between Google and Bing, because over the last few years, Apple have made the default on various, I think it was Siri, their Siri search platform, if you want to call it that, became Bing. I think Google have now bought the right to that back, but I could be wrong about that as well. Anyway, the point is the iPhone represents a massive share of the search market, and Google are willing to pay Apple handsomely for it. So interesting stuff. Right, okay, thank you for listening. Please join us on Thursday for the podcast. Go enter the WP Builds Quite Good giveaway and see if you can win a boatload of stuff. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.